Hi, Lishia.
Hi, good to
How are
see you.
you?
How are you? I'm good.
Today, or in this conversation, I would like to get into sort of more basic questions that I keep hearing from people around me. Maybe you also hear from people around you. And sometimes, I think maybe this is also my questions too, which is about, possible misconceptions that we have about a life of an entrepreneur. First, and maybe you also hear about this a lot, I want to have freedom. That's why I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to have personal time freedom. I don't like going to the office to a certain time. I have to stay in the office until a certain time. I don't like keep being bugged with deadlines. Some people even feel that I don't like having a boss. I don't like being told what to do. And also financial freedom. Because if you work in an organization, the idea or the common idea is that, yeah, your income is sort of predicted. So all this idea about freedom, I think, largely become one of the main thoughts that people have about, or imagination that people have about life as an entrepreneur. It's a life with a lot of freedom.
I used to think that running my own business means I don't have to answer to anyone, but it's untrue. I still have to answer to my clients. I still have to answer to the shareholders. I still have to answer to our partners. And if you don't do a good job, then your clients and even your employees will be the one chasing you for things. Like project deadlines still apply. So that's not so much freedom there. But I do find that I have the freedom to pursue my ideas. I want to take the company in a certain direction. I want to take the business into something new, or I want to test out something that I find quite interesting. I have the freedom to do that because the accountability is to the business, which essentially is to me and the shareholders. But having freedom in terms of time, yes and no. We have the flexibility, yes. Freedom, no. We have the flexibility to manage our time. If I have to send a family member to a doctor, or if I have to run errands that day, I don't have to clock in and out. But in terms of time, I find myself thinking about the business more than being in a corporate setup. And on the weekend, sometimes that's the only time that you can go and have a look at new ideas, new projects, or read something that might be useful to the company. And if it's a freedom for your finances, the first few years of starting up your business, your financial freedom may not be there yet. But you do have a higher chance of making it big, shorter than if you work in a company. But if you work in a company, there are also career progressions with really good paychecks. And if you can make it to senior management, your digits go up, and you might even have share options. You might have extra perks. You have sometimes your holidays being paid for, which you don't get.
I've seen this too, like in the real life. I've met, CEOs or COOs or CFOs, the C-suites, people who lead and run large corporations, particularly large corporation, multinationals, they are very, very well compensated.
Yes.
For their skills and their expertise, and then their experiences.
And
right?
Being entrepreneurs, being a big business owner even, it doesn't mean that you're liquid. So your assets might be tied in inventory. It might be tied to goods or services you've delivered, but the client hasn't paid you. And there are cases where the client defaults and then they can't afford to pay you, and your business falls together with the client. So there's also that risk.
Yeah. The second thing that I usually hear, the most important thing is that are you passionate about your business idea? Because the most important thing is to have a great idea. So passion and great idea. Is that really true though? That's actually the most important thing.
I think for passion, that's a question. Are you passionate enough about your job? Because that applies too. Being an entrepreneur, it takes more than just passion and determination and a good idea. It's a good start to have those. It will get you through the tough days. A good idea is not enough. You do have to have a plan to execute.
And the last one, but not least, I don't know whether this is only in our society in Indonesia or also exists in other societies, but I personally keep hearing that to be a successful business person meaning entrepreneurs, you have to have it in your blood. So it's like there's a DNA requirement as a prerequisite that can determine or predict whether you will be successful entrepreneur or you probably will not make it as a successful entrepreneur. So people usually see it as, is there any members of your family that have done this before and successful? Do you have it in your culture, hereditary, aspect of somebody? Do you believe in that entrepreneur is born to be entrepreneur?
No, I don't believe in that.
That's like a clear no.
It's a clear no. Being an entrepreneur takes a lot of, it's a nurture thing. So it's not about being born, but I do see why people think that it's about being born, because when you're an entrepreneur, you have 1,001 questions and you need people to ask these questions too. Naturally, your family would be the first one that you ask, like, hey, mom, dad, uncle, I have this problem with my business, because there's so many aspects in running a business. And I think if you don't have a family, it doesn't mean that you don't have that chance to succeed, but you can be part of communities, you can be part of entrepreneurial organizations around the world, or even in your own industry, so that you can always have people to ask questions to, you can learn from each other, you can see how things are done more efficiently.
Yeah, I think that will be the next topic that we're going to discuss further. These days, there are so many communities that people can join if they would like to see coaching, mentoring, and then there are also lots of pitch competitions, incubator programs, accelerator, stuff like that. We're going to break it down in our next episode, in our conversation next week. Thank you so much, Lishia, for today.
Thank you, Ledy.
Have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.